Hello, happy Mindset Monday, everyone. This is Carmelita Turner, the realest realtor, and I'm so glad that you're here with me for another edition of Mindset Monday. This is where I bring the challenges to help you shift that mindset and elevate all the things that you manifest in your life. Let me say that for so many of you, you know that I was an educator for over 2 decades, and I pride myself on being a lifelong educator. And now I have the ability to educate people in a new way because you all know what is my superpower? I can relate all things back to dirt and doors. That's right. That's why I'm the realest realtor. I keep it real and I make those connections that matter. So today, I want to share with you a little bit about my mission. And I'm going to overlay that with some story time, okay? First and foremost, I've always been a thought innovator. So if you ask yourself, okay, well, Carmelita, what's an innovator? An innovator is someone that actually helps you take your dreams and make them a reality. They are someone who is able to educate and assist and guide you into manifesting what it is you desire. That's an innovator. But let me tell you something. I want to grow up and be a disruptor because a disruptor is a person, an entity, a business, a thing that has created all of these innovative processes, innovative thought processes, and things that people are able to do that will change the landscape of how things are done. That's my mission. I'm dedicated. I'm not new to this. I'm true to this. It is always wonderful for me to come and talk with you guys on this Mindset Monday. Let me ask you something. Let's start off with a question before story time. And I'll give you a few seconds to think about it before you answer. Here's my question. Is it legal to deputize citizens in these United States to act against other citizens and wage kidnapping, assault, and murder without these other citizens having been charged with a crime? You all know my phrase, I'll wait. I didn't need to wait. You already know the answer. Hell to the nah. However, apparently, it was legal May 31st through June 1st of 1921 in the Greenwood district of Tulsa, Oklahoma. You all know I sport my 1921 hat with pride. Shout out to Play Black Wallstreet. I will definitely tag in this video where you can not only grab that hat, but also the Play Black Wallstreet game so you're able to continually educate yourself and your family on the knowledge that we must have. Okay? So apparently, during the course of that 18 hours, almost 100 years ago this month, it was legal to deputize citizens to wage war, massacre against other fellow citizens of these United States. And I know a lot of you are saying, well, wait a minute, what are you talking about, Carmelita? Well, I'm talking about what has been deemed probably the single worst incident of racial violence in our country. Now, let's not get it twisted. That was one of the worst. Were there others? Absolutely and unfortunately. Did it stop 100 years ago? No, it has not. Why do I bring these things to your attention on these Mindset Mondays? Because they are powerful nuggets of knowledge that help move you to where not only you need to be, where you rightfully should be. So let me ask you, how old were you when you first learned about Tulsa, the Greenwood District, Black Wallstreet? Do you remember? Where did you learn about it? Where did you hear about it? It's not something that's taught in mainstream public education. I know. I was a public educator and an administrator for over 2 decades. So think about, where did you hear this knowledge? Where did you learn about this? And guess what? If you don't know anything about it, do not feel bad. How about the fact that there were people who grew up in Tulsa that had no idea about the Tulsa massacre until they had moved away and, went to college, were doing other things in their career. You can hear more of those stories on Tulsa2021.org, and I will link that here as well so that you can learn about all of the commemorative events going on now as we are fast approaching the centennial of Black Wall Street, of the Greenwood Massacre. And it's so important that you definitely go and get that knowledge. So it's okay if you don't know, because it's not something that was taught. If they weren't teaching it in the city where it occurred, you darn sure know that you had to put in some work, right? To educate yourself to find out about this, right? You all know that the pillars here with Call Carmelita the brand, we stand on mindset, education, especially as it pertains to credit, and assets through what? My superpower, dirt and doors. I can trace all things back to real estate. How does that pertain to Greenwood, to the Greenwood district of Tulsa, Oklahoma? Well, let me tell you how. The Greenwood district of Tulsa, Oklahoma was one of the most prominent areas and concentrations of Blacks in America at the time. They had their own Black-owned businesses, a plethora of them, hotels, movie theaters, bus lines. They had their own airport. They had airplanes. They owned their own airplanes, folks, okay? This is how hustling and bustling and prominent. They had all of the industries covered in this area of Tulsa, Oklahoma, in this Greenwood this Greenwood district of Tulsa. And they also were able to circulate their dollars within their own community. They owned their own land. They owned the dirt. They owned the doors. And guess what else? They were slowly but surely expanding even beyond their boundaries. You should go and read more about people like O.W. Gurley and others that helped create this vision of Black Wall Street. Were they bothering anyone? Were they nuisances in any way? No. But what begins to happen? Well, the white residents just could not really understand how this was being allowed to happen. Well, what is that? You mean people owning their own land, owning their own dirt, owning their own doors, doing for themselves, circulating dollars when they're within their own community and not within yours? So jealousy began to set in. They were looking for any reason to basically obliterate this district in Tulsa, this Greenwood district. And they got it. On May 31st, a young 19-year-old kid, a shoe shine guy, was getting on an elevator and happened to just stumble a little bit. And you know how when you trip, you're just grasping around to grab something to stand up. And they implied that somehow he may have brushed, not even grabbed her arm, none of that, brushed against the elevator operator at the time, who was a white woman. And from there, they, accused him of assaulting this white woman, and all hell ensued. They deputized people from hither, thither, and there to come and attack the residents in this Greenwood district of Tulsa, Oklahoma. Now, let me be clear. It was a massacre, yes. It was murderous, and still to this day, somebody should be charged. There should be some penalties levied, but that's just me talking. Don't get it twisted. Oh, did the residents fight back? Most deaf. Why? Because there's power in ownership. They knew the power of that dirt. They knew the power of those doors. They knew the generational wealth that is created from that. I'm going to tell you how bad it was. See, this is how you got to pay attention. That's why I bring this knowledge and education to systemic systems. Even with all the loss that they suffered, Our own government dropped bombs and other things on their own people, by the way. Go do the research. I don't make this stuff up. Even in the midst of all of that, and all the insurance that they had paid over time, their insurance companies did not pay for their losses. They said that martial law had been claimed, and so because martial law had been evoked, no insurance claims could be filed. Now, for whites that had suffered some loss, there were some white areas that were destroyed also. Their insurance claims were paid out. You better get your mind right. Show up here on these Mindset Mondays and get this education. I want to give you these nuggets of knowledge so that you can go and read and research and learn. That's the only way that you can empower yourself so that a thought innovator like myself can help you manifest what it is that you desire. Okay, so that's just a little blurb about Storytime, but I'll definitely include a link so that you can go and read and research more on your own. So let me tell you something. If you look like me and you have a desire to own your first door, to own more doors, to own more dirt, to own some dirt, I don't care what it is. That is my mission. That is my desire, to educate you and to show you that if we did it once, we can keep doing it again. Let me tell you, not only the residents of Greenwood fight back, they also rebuilt to the extent that they could. Listen, they were like, yo, we did this. We're going to do this again. That's what you are cut from. They did it once. They did it again. And it was done in many other areas throughout this country. I don't care if we're talking Richmond, Virginia. I don't care if we're talking Rosewood. It was done multiple times. You must get your mind together and understand this is what you come from. There's no reason that you're not owning dirt and doors to the extent that you desire, so that it is generating wealth for you in the right now and for those who will come after you later. Listen, folks, thanks as always for showing up for these Mindset Mondays. I always ask you to do two things for me. As a thought innovator, it is important to me that I'm getting out valuable education to folks. Make sure that you're following me on this channel and all my platforms. They're hearing the message. Make sure that you are sharing this content with other people, and leave your good sis a word. Leave me a comment. Let me know what your thoughts are. Let me know when you first learned about Black Wallstreet, where you learned about it. I'm very curious to know. I would love to connect with you in that way and interact with you in that way. The second thing I want you to do, understand the power of what comes after the phrase, I am. So I want you looking in the mirror every day and saying to yourself, I am a change maker. Don't just say it. I want you to believe it. And I want you to start shifting that mindset, knowing that you are a change maker in your own life and in that of your family and generations to come. And please make sure that you're connecting with me. Call Carmelita if you have any needs as it pertains to owning more dirt and doors. And even if you don't, I still thank you and I extend gratitude for showing up on these Mindset Mondays, sharing this information with others. And I know that those who are seeking what I'm able to provide will find me as I will find them. Enjoy the remainder of this Mindset Monday. Make sure that you are following us on YouTube at Call Carmelita. We will have our Talk About It Tuesday tomorrow. Good stuff coming. And of course, every Wednesday at 3 p.m., join us on Anchor and Spotify for our podcast, The Realist Realtor. Take care, folks.